Are you one of many Americans who feel like their retirement plan is failing? Here's some ideas on how to fix a failing retirement plan. I'm host of the On the Money YouTube channel powered by Allied Wealth, Ryan Wheelis. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you like the content we're putting out, give us a like, hit the subscribe button down below, put in your email address, subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you updated as we put content out. Also, feel free to comment in the comment sections, and I usually personally reply back to every one of the comments on the videos. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? I mean, my retirement plan failing? It's pretty scary, and a lot of people feel like they're behind the eight ball and their retirement planning is failing before they retire. And sometimes people get into retirement and some bad things happen with the stock market. They spend too much money, health happens, whatever happens, and they are now in retirement and they feel like they're failing and their retirement plan is failing. Quite frankly, I can't think of anything more scary, whether pre-retirement or after retirement. But here's some ideas on how to fix a failing retirement plan. So the first one is assess your current plan. And what does that mean, folks? When we assess a current plan for somebody, say they come into the office or we get on the phone with them via Zoom meeting virtually. We work all over the country, by the way, and do that often. But the first thing I want to do is let's just assess. Maybe you feel like your retirement plan is failing, but let's prove it mathematically that your retirement plan is failing. So for instance, what we'll do is we'll take all of your information, your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds, your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, all your stuff, and we'll kind of map it out and see where you are. Then we take your individual positions in your portfolio and we do an analysis on your current portfolio. And then the next thing we do is say, okay, what's your income need? What's your Social Security? What's your pensions? All this kind of stuff. And we want to test the plan for your needs and your portfolio producing the income you need and see what the long-term probability of success is. Sometimes we find the long-term probability of success is too low. Sometimes we find, believe it or not, it's too high. And when it comes to probability of success over the long term, folks, our favorite number is 85%. If it's 100%, it's too high. You're not living well enough. If it's 85%, you're right in the wheelhouse of where you should be. And if you're below 85%, that's okay. 83, 82, 81, still okay. Start getting below 80 and we start getting concerned. But let's quantify and test that your plan's failing versus emotions, because sometimes we may feel like our plan's failing, but mathematically it's actually not. So assess your current plan and what you're currently doing first, and don't panic, all right? There's ways to fix this stuff, okay? Another one is to set clear retirement goals. I remember back in the day, I believe it was an ING commercial, and they had your number, and they had people carrying around briefcases, and the briefcases were, numbers made out of whatever, they're plastic or whatever, and everybody had their number. And this one guy's like, I don't have a number. And his neighbor's like, well, what do you mean you don't have a number? He's like, yeah, I just, it's a bazillion. I throw money at the problem and hope something good happens. And folks, that's, if you've got gazillions of dollars, maybe that works because you can't spend all the money you've got in a lifetime. But for most of us, that's not the case, right? So having clear goals of what you need set is important. So a lot of people don't know how to define clear goals in their retirement plans. One of the ways to do that is to find out what you need to spend. Divide your expenses up into two categories. Discretionary expenses come first. That's food, water, shelter, clothing, healthcare, transportation, access to medicine. I think I've just about covered those, but you get the point that those are the essential things you have to have covered, essential expenses you have to have covered in your golden years to have any quality of life whatsoever. So we know we need to have enough money to cover those, all right? Well, if we get enough money to cover those and we can do that, we can retire. But hey, nobody retires just to have those expenses recovered. We want to have some fun, man. We want to live. We want to travel and party and celebrate and do some great stuff. stuff. So we also need to build into the plan some actual fun money, right? So let's get the non-discretionary expenses covered first, and let's go to work on the fun money and the fun expenses and figure out how many vacations we can take per year, how much fun we can have, what we can spend on fun stuff too. And that is part of just setting some clear goals, but a lot of us don't do that because we don't know how to do it, and engaging a good fiduciary financial planner like the ones at Allied Wealth can certainly help you do that stuff, by the way. Next thing, if you feel like you're not getting where you need to be, you can increase your savings, folks, all right? Pay yourself first and increase your savings. Save more money. I have seen people who worked, put kids through college, and spent a lot of money on putting kids through college, by the way, and got to 50, and maybe they had amassed $250,000 of savings, and they felt they were really behind the 8 ball. And this has happened many times. And in many cases, we help people supercharge their savings. We help them stay disciplined. They maxed out their 401ks. They got those 401k matches. They were aggressive in their investing like we suggested they were. They took the down markets with stride. They kept adding money in, all right? They saved money additional to the 401k contributions. They didn't do as much with vacations. They didn't remodel the houses as much or whatever. And they got to a point to where they saved a nice chunk of money and are able to retire very comfortably and have a very fulfilling and fruitful retirement just by increasing your savings. So that's another one you can do if you feel like you're failing in retirement. Another one is to diversify your investments. And folks, this is one of those things. There's a big investment house out there, and I'm not going to talk bad about anybody, but they're very big on stocks, okay? And that's okay for some people, by the way. Some people love stocks and having all their money at work on Wall Street in the stock market, and that's awesome, by the way. The challenge with that is not all of us are built that way. And what I mean by that way is stocks can have a tremendous amount of ups and downs. Your ups can be wiped out by the downs just as fast as you got the ups. And to that end, what can happen is we can get really scared and really fearful, pull all of our money out of the stock market at the wrong time, never go back in, and wind up locking in substantial losses. So the point here is be well diversified. Understand that diversification is having money in two ways. The first basic of diversification that so many people often overlook is having risk money and safe money. Have a little bit of both. And for your risk money, you want to make sure you're further diversified across stocks and bonds, commodities, real estate, international equities, cash, and that sort of thing. So diversification can really help you in retirement, in a failing retirement plan, in retirement, but it can also help properly have you position pre-retirement. And what I mean by pre-retirement, by the way, folks, is if you have everything in the market 2 or 3 years or 4 years before you retire and it crashes on you, you may not be retiring when you want to. And that's a pretty terrible and uneasy feeling to go through, all right? So diversification can be a big help in helping fix a failing retirement plan. The next one. Review and adjust your investment strategy. I have a saying, right? And ask this question: do you have a mirror in your house? I do, and there's something that I notice over time when I look at myself in that mirror. And guess what that is? I'm getting older, right? We are all getting older. So the question becomes is, should you take more risk with your money as you get older, or should you take less risk with your money as you get older, right? And that's called adjusting you can equate that to adjusting your retirement plan as you get older. You know, the older you get, the less risk you should take with your money, but you still have to take the appropriate amount of risk, all right? So making sure that you're reviewing your investment strategy and adjusting accordingly can really help elongate your retirement plan in retirement and help prevent you from making some mistakes prior to retirement. So make sure you're having a good knowledge of the various investment plans, products, programs, and strategies out there available to you. Make sure you're doing your due diligence on all those things with a fiduciary advisor helping you, by the way, and have a clear understanding of those strategies and how they can best benefit you and which ones are most equal to your risk appetite and the amount of risk you're willing to take. The next one is managed investment fees. Back in the 2000s, 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, there was a really popular product out there called a variable annuity. Now, the variable annuity had had some really good things associated with it. It truly did. But the variable annuity also had something very negative associated with it, and it was very high fees. And I've seen fees on variable annuities as high as 3.5%, even 4% in some cases. So we would have people with $1 million portfolio that wanted to take $50,000 a year out of their account, all the money being in variable annuities. Well, they are pulling out $50,000, but the insurance company is pulling out another $30,000 a year in fees. Wait a minute. I'm spending $50,000 of the money that I made, and the insurance company's getting $30,000 of the money I made. That doesn't add up, folks. That's a very, very expensive vehicle, which is why it's not nearly as popular today as, say, a fixed index annuity, immediate annuity, fixed annuity, other annuities out there. But to that end, it can be very, very expensive. So you've really got to watch fees and management fees and internal fees, commissions, all that kind of stuff is super important to be mindful of, because paying a lot of fees over a long period of time can be hundreds of $1,000s. For instance, if you pay $10,000 a year for fees over a 30-year period, that's $300,000 in fees. I don't know about you, but if I got to live without a paycheck the next 30 years and not run out of money in the process and solve the retirement equation, I would gladly accept an additional $300,000 along the way, or as much as I can, because I wind up paying less fees. So be very mindful of fees and how you are paying for your investments. Work with a good fiduciary advisor, by the way, who has to be transparent on all fees charged to your account. It's a line item on your statement, and it's exactly what you're paying that advisor for those investments. Super important stuff there, folks. Another one is, and this is pre-retirement, and it can be post-retirement too. Extend your working years. If you're not where you want to be, and you're behind the 8 ball, just work longer, folks. Work longer. Don't take Social Security right away. Let it defer. Let it build up at 8%. And maybe you can't retire the way you want to at 62. Maybe you can do it at 67. Maybe you can't do it at 67. Maybe you can do it at 70. And some other things you consider too. I can consider too is part-time work. I see a lot of people retire from the big oil companies, for instance, here in Houston, and they'll stop working, and then the oil company hires them back 6 months later as a consultant, and they make nearly as much money as they did working for the oil company full-time, working part-time, and they've got a way better schedule and way better life. So a lot of that type of opportunity is out there if you look for it, and it's certainly out there available to you. Another aspect too is if you get into retirement and you're kind of concerned about things not working out for you, maybe you experienced some sequence of return risk, maybe you had some bigger expenditures than you thought on the front end, there's nothing wrong with seeking some part-time work or even some full-time work in retirement. Maybe you don't work at the bank anymore, as the VP of loans or whatever it is, or regional vice president, I don't know, whatever, but maybe go work at Home Depot, maybe do something different. There's a lot of opportunity out there for you to serve and work and still generate some income in retirement if you feel like your retirement plan is failing, folks. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, by the way, nothing wrong at all. The last one, I can't speak on this enough. Seek professional advice, all right? And I know a lot of people say to me, well, Ryan, I sought professional advice. Maybe I thought it was too expensive, or I sought professional advice. I didn't like the advisor. It just didn't feel right. Find someone who you like and who you can work with, folks. It is super important to have a coach. I have a coach myself in many things in my life. It is so important to have a coach, someone who can help guide you and make good decisions, see the things that you may not see, and also provides you good alternatives to different investment programs out there, but good advice on some different ways you could pivot in retirement and get your retirement plan back on track. But if you don't seek help, you're going to be helpless in a situation possibly and not be able to stay retired and have to go back to work, and seeking some good help and some good counsel could have kept you on the right track or got you back on the right track. So folks, thanks again for watching in the video. Hope we added some value today on how to save your failing retirement plan, either pre-retirement or post-retirement. I'm the host of the On the Money YouTube channel powered by Allied Wealth. My name is Ryan Wheelis. I enjoy doing this video work for you, so please check back in with us on the channel. If you like the content we put out, hit the like button down below. Also subscribe. We'll keep you updated on when we put out more videos. And last thing, if your retirement plan is failing and you're scared and you want some help or you want us to do some testing for you, super easy. go to alliedwealth.com, go to the hit the On the Money YouTube button right there on the channel. It'll take you to a landing page where you can put in your information, and one of our awesome fiduciary financial advisors will reach out to you and help us see if we can get you back on track and get you confident in your retirement plan so you can go out to the world and enjoy your golden years and spend money with confidence and not have to worry. Thanks again for watching.